Let me tell you, the biggest winner in all this mass of storylines is Trevor Lawrence. Where's the beef, homie?
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, when you watch a Trevor Lawrence game, you can pick out highlights. He just can't do it all consistently. And it's funny because that's been like, even in the seasons when he has good runs, he can't put together a full season of it. So like that, when if I wanted to tell you Trevor Lawrence was great, it'd be easy to pick some plays from this game where he made some incredible throws and he did some incredibly athletic things. But then you go look at the key plays and key situations, and he hasn't been able to consistently get that done. And this is we're at this quarterback conversation. He gets more cachet because he was highly drafted and we all thought he was going to be good. And there's a fear of the unknown when you don't have a quarterback like that. They're not going to be better without Trevor Lawrence, so you got to pay him. But Trevor Lawrence he's not on that top tier. He looked like it. He should be, but he's not going to be there.
I mean, that whole draft, like, we're going to have some questions about what the effect of COVID was on everything. Because all the quarterbacks of that draft, nobody's been as good as we thought they were going to be, unless I'm forgetting somebody. I feel like, especially the top three guys, nobody's been as good as we thought they were going to be. But Trevor Lawrence, as far as I can tell, has been better. Like right now, Tua is the one that's probably, I guess we'd have to say, has been the best in that draft, right?
Yeah, 100%. And he had a rough start.
Right. So we go from Tua, and then we go to Lawrence. And Lawrence is interesting to me because he was the most highly touted guy in the draft at quarterback since Andrew Luck. And I felt like we tried to we got ahead of ourselves with Luck at various points about how good he actually was. And what he turned out to be was a very good player, but not a very good player the way that we thought he would be. Like, I think we had him a little bit more in the Peyton Manning category, and he was actually a touch closer to Brett Favre. Not the same, obviously, right? But he was going to go out there and make some what are you doing kinds of decisions. Matthew Stafford might be a good comparison for Luck, who still is going to do headbanging. There's room to talk about that guy in a second. But, he's still going to give you these headbanging decisions to go with all this incredible talent. But with Lawrence, I don't watch them enough to know exactly what it is. But I know in watching it, I've yet to see the guy that we're talking about. There was the one throw they put on the internet a lot that he made that was cash money to, I think, Brian Thomas Jr., I think the dude's name was. Yeah. It was an incredible throw. And I guess that's what you're talking about. You can pull those out of there. But in the end, by now, Trevor Lawrence is supposed to look like something different for him to be what we thought he was going to be.
The argument for, and I had a good laugh on my show about how I'm at a point now where I can be honest about black quarterbacks, but some of the arguments that you would use that I could use to defend certain black quarterbacks, those things could apply to Trevor Lawrence also, because he hasn't had a lot of good support. And maybe Brian Thomas Jr. is the rookie receiver that he looked really good in this game. Maybe he'll be that guy, but his issue last year, he had a ridiculous amount of drops. And he had Urban Meyer. And now he's like, I could easily make an argument when you see the talent that the problem is, can't nobody tame this stallion? And can't nobody give him the stuff that he need to help him? Nobody go properly support him. And I get that, like, because when you see those throws, like, oh yeah, five, six guys in the league can do this. And the ones who can do it consistently without turning it over and making big plays, Trevor Lawrence, the Matt Stafford analogy is good because you're right. He also, it's not even just like occasional ineptitude. It's just like foolishness. Like, do you even understand the game situation sometimes? And then he come out there and throw some laser across the field. You're like, oh, okay.
Yo, do you notice this revisionist attempt that feels like they're trying to get Matt Stafford in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Right. Like, I push back on this narrative of the Detroit Lions holding Matthew Stafford back. And don't get me wrong, the Lions been good and sorry, and I get why that would be your default. But the Lions also gave him a lot of Calvin Johnson, right? Mm-hmm. Matthew Stafford, if I'm not mistaken, has made the Pro Bowl one time.
Yeah.
If it's not one, it's two. Like, it's some incredibly low number.
He made it once, right, with the Lions, and he made it twice with the Lions.
Once with the Lions, and last year with the Rams.
Yeah, and I was going to say he probably made it with the Rams. So my guess would have been two. But I think the thing is, there's so many variables in football. And Matt Stafford, had he landed in a different situation, maybe things would have been better. Having Calvin Johnson is one thing, but the Lions have been the Lions. So, but he didn't land in that situation. And so it feels dishonest to like give him the credit it's like sometimes people have such great careers and the only thing they need is that trophy on top. And I think that's what people are trying to make this Matt Stafford argument is like, he's had such a good career, but all he needs is that trophy on top. But he hasn't had the career that you think he had. He had the highlight plays and maybe it's about the situation, but that was the situation. we can't give what if gold jackets.
Well, also, I want to make this note. I've seen great quarterbacks in bad situations. I know what that looks like, right? You can make the argument Andrew Luck is what that looks like.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, I think, for much of his career.
Absolutely.
That mean, the dude went to a Super Bowl with Ted Ginn as his number one wide receiver. I know what it looks like when a great guy's in a bad situation. He just looked like he played for the Lions. Like he could go out there and he's got such a strong arm. He does the crazy sidearm stuff and everything else. Like, I know what it is that people talk about, but since he got to Georgia in the year 2006, I've been waiting for the dude that everybody talks about. And so after he got to the Rams, they got a Super Bowl where, by the way, he wasn't even Super Bowl MVP, right? He didn't even make the Pro Bowl in the course of that season. He got there, and he's a very good player who makes head-scratching, boneheaded decisions. But what he can do every now and then is something that is super duper incredible. But in this league where Vince Young made the Pro Bowl twice, the there is not there that people talk about with Stafford. And it's not like he's giving you a lot of years with like big yards per attempt numbers as you would expect for somebody that has that arm. And you go look at the records those years with the Lions. He had the years with Caldwell. That's great quarterback development and a dude that puts together a decent offense, right? They had like 4 years of that. It hasn't been just the Detroit years were not as abjectly terrible as people make them out to be. They just weren't.
I think that he had average to above average coach and surroundings. He had in LA excellent above average coach and surroundings at times. And when we saw that team at its best, we saw a version of Matt Stafford that we were like, man, that's Hall of Fame if he could do it every year for the past 12 years. And I think people are like, yeah, that's where they land. The one argument I will make for Matt Stafford is, much as we love when Patrick Mahomes throws a preseason around the back pass, Matt Stafford, in the biggest game of his damn life, that man, game-winning drive, threw a no-look pass right on the money.
He did.
Cold as shit I've seen in a while. And we don't talk. And I'm not one to be like, hey, we blow all the Patrick Mahomes stuff out of proportion. I'm not that guy. But had Patrick damn Mahomes done that,
is fair.
We never would forget that. And
hold on, guys. You hear this? Domonique just said racism over. Right then and there. Domonique just like, y'all always out here complaining. White man overlooked.
Yeah, that white man that one moment, that 3-second play for that white man is overlooked. But they're gonna have a rough year if they think that they gonna they targeted Cooper Kupp 21 times, man. They're gonna try to kill him 21 times game one. Threw it at him.
Also, I want to say this though, for Matt Stafford, in fairness, right? We are in an era now of the NFL where we roundly and generally believe you better be able to move to get this done. He can't really move.
Not no more.
Still out here getting it done.
Yeah. That's fair because of the arm. I forgot about this as you were saying that, and the what ifs is not a fun game to play, but we are kind of playing the what ifs in the positive way with people with Matt Stafford. But we also forget, you said he does those boneheaded things on their Super Bowl run. That was the same one where he hit a 49ers player safety in the chest with the ball. It would have lost him that game, right? And that thing bounced off. I forgot what safety that was. But yeah, that's the boneheaded plays, and that's the randomness of it, is if you're going to do enough of those boneheaded plays, some of them going to get caught.
Yeah, no, they're got like Carson Palmer is a guy that's in this category also, who at his best was absolutely excellent. But you knew once or twice a game, it was going to be your chance. He was going to break out that T-shirt cannon and give something back to the people.
Carson Palmer was the prototype. He was the big, and that's what we get a lot out of Trevor Lawrence too. Is we are conditioned to think these certain things about these certain guys. Give us one play that looked like he got it. Give me one play that looked like he got it. His hair bouncing in the background after he rip it off. People are like, oh, that's what it is. It looked like that. It don't look like that no more, guys.
Yeah, we need to find some way to do it for these guys that are like that, where we can have them drop back and then they start playing like the music they run when they break out the t-shirt cannon. And the DBs just waving their hands up like beep, beep, beep.
Then when they throw it, you got to do the cannon sound effect too. Just see the ball coming out there.
You like for example, Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo, you know that all right, last drive, whether it's the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship game, whatever it is, you know that drive is going to end in an interception.
What's that song called? I need to know the name of that song so we can.
Is that Zombie Nation? I think it's called Zombie Nation.
Oh yeah, well, he's a Zombie Nation quarterback.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Here come the zombie. Okay, Zombie Nation is the band. Kern Craft 400 is the song. Zombie Nation is the band. But yeah, that's what it is. Like, you know, he's going to throw that. Kirk Cousins, he's another zombie. Although now he's a one-legged zombie, boy. They got a problem down there. Now I see why they took Michael Penix, who also only has one leg.
You can't put them together. Yeah, that was bad, man. I'm sure by now you probably have heard or read about, like, I mean, you already know Kirk Cousins, his bag is play action from under the center, man. They didn't do it once. That means he can't move, man. It's like going to draft Zach Edey and not giving him the ball at the post. Like, maybe that's what you do. That's what makes him good. And they like, all right, we got this guy. He can turn his back to the defense. It's going to set Bijan up great because running backs don't want to run from the shotgun if they can help it. Like, this is going to work perfectly. And I bought the hype. We're going to play action and Pitt's going to be there.
Oh, you fell for
do it once. Oh, yeah, I fell for it. I fell for it.
You fell for the combination of Kirk Cousins in an Atlanta Falcons jersey.
It made perfect sense. They got Bijan, a great running back. They got a great tight end, or a talented tight end at least, a great receiver. Kirk Cousins is a play action god. It's all we got to do. Yeah, I fell for it.
Okay. Look, I need y'all to understand something, right? I understand that a lot of you think I have a very high opinion of myself and a high opinion of my own intelligence. Yes, times two, right? That is, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. But I also make it a point where I surround myself with what I consider to be very bright people, right? Like I most of the people around me, all the people I can really think of, they all real sharp. And a lot of them, they know something that I don't know. Like, I really appreciate that they got that sharpness about them. And I feel like what the basis of our friendship is also largely appreciating and understanding the expertise that each of us has and deferring to that expertise in some moments. And it works because I do that for the homies. And I would like to think that the homies would show me that back in return. But oh, no. No, sir. I show up to work and Kirk Cousins start playing for the Atlanta Falcons. And I find out that Domonique is like, you don't know nothing. Right? Like, there's other ways that this has manifested itself. But I'm like, hey, man, that's people stuff. But this right here, this me, bruh.